Hello everyone. We have seen about heating effect of electric current, magnetic field associated with a current carrying wire, and also if we keep an electrical conductor in the magnetic field such that the direction of the current flowing through the conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field, then a force is exerted on the conductor. But now, what if the conductor is moving or the magnetic field around the conductor changes? To answer this question, an experimental scientist, Michael Faraday, conducted several experiments and observed the discovered the law of induction. Let us observe in this simulation what will happen when the magnetic field around the loop is changed. Now, if you observe this carefully, whenever the magnetic field, the bar magnet is moving laterally inside the coil, it is observed that the bulb starts to glow, and also the galvanometer shows us the reading in accordance with the position of the magnet. And also, if we keep the magnet inside and start flipping the magnetic field, it is also observed that the electric current is induced in the coil or is generated in the coil. Now, if you take this bar magnet to a smaller ring, it is observed that the current generated is lower than that of the bigger ring. As we have learned this, the strength of a magnetic field or the strength of the induced current will be dependent on the number of turns of the coil. Now there is a simple simulation of a simple electric generator. Now you can observe this whenever the magnetic field is changing, the current is being induced in the coil. So now also we can observe that instead of a bar magnet, if we are taking a solenoid coil and attached with a battery to it, since we know that a magnetic field is being generated on the coil, we can see that whenever the magnetic field is changing, it is moved in or out of the coil, it is observed that a current is induced in the coil resulting in the glow of the bulb. And also in this, whenever if a coil is kept stationary, and also there is a current associated with the secondary coil over here, so it can be seen that a current is induced and it can be seen from the galvanometer. So what does this mean? So to explain this, from this experiment it is understood that whenever the number of magnetic lines of forces passing through the coil changes, whenever the magnetic lines of forces passing through the coil changes, current is induced in the coil. This is known as law of induction. The current produced in the coil is also called as induced current, as you can see over here. Now, to understand the direction of the current induced in the coil, there is one rule called as the Fleming's right hand rule. According to this rule, stretch the right thumb, the index finger and the middle finger, the right thumb, the index finger and the middle finger in such a way that they will be perpendicular to each other. In this position, the thumb will indicate the direction of the motion, whereas the index finger indicates the direction of the magnetic field and the middle finger will indicate the direction of the induced current. This rule is known as Fleming's left hand rule. You can observe this over here, like whenever if you want to find the direction of the current induced in this, you have to take your right hand and first of all you have to keep your index finger in the direction of magnetic field, that is from north and south. Then second, your thumb in the direction of force. Over here the push is at the upward direction. So now for Fleming's right hand rule, it is observed that the direction of the current is been given by the middle finger. So it is in the outside of the screen. Similarly over here, when the force is in the downward direction, it is going, your magnetic field is going from north to south. It is observed that the current induced is towards the inside of the screen. Now let us see a simple device which is based on the electromagnetic induction, which is called as the electric generator. Now electric generator is a device which uses mechanical energy to rotate the current carrying coil in a magnetic field around an axis, thereby producing electricity. So mechanical energy in this case is being converted to electrical energy. It consists of a rectangular loop of copper wire, which is placed between the two parts of the magnet. Now, the generator we have seen that in the motor we have seen that the motor consists of a split ring. Now in the generator we have no split rings, we have two separate rings. Now the ends of the coil over here, that is branch AB, is connected to the carbon brush B1, and the branch CD is been connected to the carbon brush C2. Now the inside of the rings are coated with a resistive coating to avoid any scratching that may damage the generator. The axle of the generator is used to rotate the coil so that there is a force acting on the coil, and due to that force electricity is generated. Now the B1 branch is connected, B1 and B2 of the carbon brushes are connected to the electrical generator. Now let us go for the working of this. Now in this we will be using a Fleming's right hand rule to find the electricity, the current induced in the coil. Now imagine that you have a coil like in this, that is that you are pushing the coil in the upward direction. The branch AB is being pushed in the upward direction. And the magnetic field is from north to south. So according to Fleming's right hand rule, it is observed that the current is induced in the direction A to B in this coil, and since the branch CD is moving in a downward direction and the magnetic field is from north to south, it is observed that the current is induced in the direction CD in the branch CD, and it is going to the carbon brush B2. Now every half turn in this, after every half turn, the branch AB comes to the position of branch CD, whereas the branch CD comes to the position of branch AB. Since the branch BA is always in contact with the brush B1 and the branch DC is in contact with the B2, hence in the external circuit the current flows from B1 to B2. Instead of first it was going from B2 to B1, but now the current will be flowing from B1 to B2. That is the opposite of the previous half rotation. So this repeats after every half rotation, and alternating current is produced. Therefore we can say that this is a AC generator. Why? Because in the initial half, when the AB was going up and CD was going down, it is observed that the current is flowing from B2 to B1 in the first case. You can observe over here. But now since they are fixed, the attachment ends of the coil are fixed to B1 and B2, ring 1 and ring 2, it is observed that when CD comes to AB and AB comes to CD, now the current will flow from B1 to B2. So after every half cycle, the direction of the current is changing. Therefore, since the direction of the current is changing, this is also called as AC generator or alternating current generator. So let us see what is the basic difference between AC and DC, that is alternating current and direct current. Now if you observe this graph carefully, the blue line represents the direct current, whereas the orange line represents the AC current. Now a direct current, a current flowing in only one direction, is called as the direct current. So we have been dealing with direct current till now. We have been seeing a battery, a cell attached to a coil. So whenever a battery is attached to a coil, it is said that there is DC current associated with it. Now what is the difference over here? In DC current, the current is only moving in one direction, whereas in AC, after some time, the direction of the current is always changing. The current will alternate its position. That means from this it can be seen that current versus time graph, that initially it will move upward, the voltage, the potential difference will increase. Afterwards it will go to zero, and again it will go to the opposite sides of the opposite side direction, and the potential difference will increase in the opposite direction. So it behaves as a sinusoidal wave. Therefore the symbol for AC is a wave. Now the advantage of AC in conjunction with DC is that the AC can be transferred to large amount of places. It can be transferred using wire to large distances, whereas DC cannot be transferred from too large distances. Also, in India, the frequency of AC is around 50 Hz. That is, every 50 seconds, 1/50th of a second, the direction of the current is changing. Let us see what is the definition of AC current. Current changing its magnitude and direction after equal intervals of time is called alternating current. Okay. Now let us go one of the topic that is given in your textbook, that is a DC generator. Now the construction of a DC generator is similar to that of an electric motor. The only difference over here is that instead of a battery setup, we are using a galvanometer. So in AC generator we were having two rings, whereas in a DC generator we'll be having a split ring as shown in the figure. So whenever a force is acting, that is from A to B in the upward direction and C to D in the downward direction, whenever the axle rotates and the force is acting on it, we'll see that because of the split ring arrangement, the branch of the coil going upward is always in the contact with one brush, and the branch going downwards is always contact with the other brush. So hence the current flows in one direction in the electric circuit. This is why generator is called as a DC generator. So what does this mean is that whenever this goes upward and this goes downward, after every half rotation, the direction of the current produced in this will be the same, which will be shown by the galvanometer. Therefore it is called as the DC generator. Now let us go for certain questions that are given in your textbook. We'll just go through some of the questions. Identify the figure and explain their use. The first one, the figure is shown as a fuse. It is a simple fuse. Fuse is used in electric circuit to protect the electrical appliances from getting damaged due to short circuit or overloading. Now the second one, that is B, is the miniature circuit breaker, or it is also called as MCB. MCB switches are used in household. When the current in the circuit increases, this switch opens and stops the current. Now the third one we just saw now, that is a DC generator, which consists of a split ring. The difference over here you can see there is a galvanometer attached over here. So DC generator is used to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy in the form of direct current. Now let us go for some of the problems that are given in your textbook. Generally you have to remember the formula of power and Ohm's law, and formula for power is V into I. Also it is given as energy upon time or work done upon time, and for Ohm's law V is equal to IR. If you remember those three formulas, it will be easier for understanding the problems and solving it. Let us read. Heat energy is being produced in a resistance in a circuit at the rate of 100 watt. So the power over here in the resistance, the power consumed by the resistance is 100 watt. The current of 3 amperes flowing in the circuit. What must be the value of resistance? So we have the over here power is given as 100 watt and current as 3 amperes. Formula we have power is equal to V into I, that is potential difference into current, and from Ohm's law where V is equal to IR. Calculation, substituting the value of V from 1, 2 and 1, we get power power, and this formula 2 we are going to substitute in the 1, so we are getting I into R, that is I square R. Therefore, since power is given as 100 watt, we can write over here 100 is equal to, and current is 3 ampere, so it is 3 square into R. So we are getting the resistance value as 100 upon 9 is equal to 11.1 ohm, which can be approximated to 11 ohm. Therefore, the value of resistance in the circuit is 11 ohm. Let's go for the second question. Two tungsten bulbs of wattage 100 watt and 60 watt power work on 220 volts potential difference. If they are connected in parallel, how much current will flow in the main conductor? The important thing over here is if they are connected in parallel. Since they are connected in parallel, the potential difference in both of them will be the same. The only difference will be that the current in both of them will be different. So the potential difference is given as 220 volt. So power of the bulb is P1 is 100 watt and power of bulb P2 is 60 watt. So formula that we'll be using to find the total current are P is equal to V into I, and the current is I1 plus I2, the addition of both the currents from the both the bulbs. Calculation from 1, formula 1, it is seen that I1 is equal to P by V, that is P1 by V, it is 100 upon 220, whereas I2 is P2 by V is equal to 60 upon 220 amperes. From formula 1, from formula 2, we have total current in the circuit is I is equal to I1 plus I2, which will be equal to I is equal to 0.727 amperes. So the total current flowing in the main conductor is 0.727 ampere. Let us go for third question. Who will spend more electrical energy? 500 watt TV set in 30 minutes or 600 watt heater in 20 minutes? Again, this is a power related problem. We just have to use formula using the energy. For TV set, power is equal to 500 watts. Now time taken over here is, since we have energy is equal to power into time, we have to find the value of time also. So time is equal to 30 minutes is equal to 30 into 60 seconds. So you have to convert this into seconds, minutes to seconds. So energy over here is 500 into 30 into 60, which will be equal to 900 into 10 raised to 3 joule. Now for heater, power is 600 watt. So time is equal to 20 minutes. So 20 into 60 seconds, which will be equal to, energy will be 600 into 20 into 60, which will be equal to 720 into 10 raised to 3 joule. Now when you compare this E1 and E2, it is observed that the TV set takes more energy than that of the water heater. So therefore E1 is greater than E2. Therefore energy spent by TV is greater. The energy consumed by TV set is more than that the consumed by the heater. Okay. Now we go for the last question. Now this question can also be used for in your household to find how much electricity your household appliances are using. Like if you take your air conditioner, which might use 1000 watt of power, or you can see your fan, which uses around 80 watts of power. You can find on a daily basis how many units of electricity is that appliance is using. This is a very good question. An electrical iron of 1100 watt is operated for 2 hours daily. What will be the electrical consumption expenses for that in the month of April? The electrical company charges rupees 5 per unit of electricity. So you can look at your electric bill and how much does your electricity provider charges. From that you can calculate the amount that the appliance is costing you on a monthly basis. Given over here, power is equal to 1100 watt, that is 1.1 kilowatt, whereas the time taken is 2 hours. Now formula over here is energy is equal to power into time, and second is electrical consumption expenses is equal to energy consumed into charges per unit. So for each unit, how much electricity is being consumed, we have to multiply and show. Calculation from formula 1: when energy consumed in 1 day is equal to 1.1, that is power is 1.1 watt into time is 2 hours, it is equal to 2.2 kilowatt hour. We are not changing over here this hours into second, because we have to use, since we know that 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 unit, so we will be using that to find the final answer. Therefore energy consumed in the month of April will be, that is, energy is equal to 2.2 kilowatt into 30, that is equal to 66 kilowatt hour. So since we know that 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 unit, therefore we are getting 66 unit. From formula 2, the electrical consumption expenses is equal to, since 66 kilowatt hour, and for each unit the cost per unit is 5, therefore we are getting 66 multiplied by 5, which will be equal to 330 unit. So expense of iron for using iron for 2 hours daily in the month of April is rupees 330, since in the month of April the number of days are 30. So we are getting the amount consumed by the electric iron is rupees 330. Thank you.